double down as we come to Las Vegas, beginning NASCAR Goes West. Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson. They're all here. Kurt Busch, the Daytona 500 winner. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. all ready to roll for our first NASCAR Cup practice session of the day in Las Vegas. It is Fast Friday, presented by K&N. The weather is perfect. 72 degrees, just a little bit of a light breeze. The track temp 85. May even get a little warmer as the afternoon goes on, and we look ahead to qualifying later in the day. Welcome to the Nevada desert as we're ready to go racing on another mile and a half. Here we go.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to be interested. We've broken the track record here 7 years in a row. 196 miles an hour around this mile and a half joint. And with this little spoiler and these tires we got, it wouldn't surprise me to do it again today.
And Jeff, some teams early season success, others licking their wounds as they come west.
Yeah, they are. And, this is a unique mile and a half versus what we just saw last week in Atlanta. So I'm really curious. You mentioned Brad Keselowski doubling down, not just going back-to-back from Atlanta, but he won this race a year ago. I think he'll be a real factor. But, yeah, last week was really interesting with some of the pit road penalties. We're going to be talking a lot about that this weekend and what DW talked about, these tires, how they react and how the stages work out in this mile and a half here at Atlanta or at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
They're a little bit similar, but only in the distance of a mile and a half. Let's go downstairs to Las Vegas native Jamie Little.
Thanks so much, Mike. It's great to be back in my home city and sleeping in my own bed. And same goes for Kurt Busch. He came home yesterday to a big celebration. His old high school, Durango High School, had a big assembly to celebrate the Daytona 500 winner. They had cheerleaders and the band, you name it. Kurt was pumped up, and in return, he made a big donation to the athletic department at his high school. But today, it's all business. Kurt in his race car, ready to get on track for the first practice. Kurt has never won here at his home track, and his crew chief, Tony Gibson, well aware of it. They're focusing here. They're going to do some race runs, shake down the car, and then switch over and do a mock qualifying run later on. Trying to get that 41, their first win here. Vince Welch.
Well, Jamie, the West Coast swing creates challenges for all the teams, but for the 88 group and Dale Earnhardt Jr., it signifies a new beginning because it certainly has been a very difficult start to the season. 37th at Daytona, 30th at Atlanta, and of course the heavy hearts with the passing of Greg Ives' mother last Friday. Ives, of course, the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in this 88 group. But coming here to Las Vegas, it's a place where they have run well, and it gives them optimism. Junior's finished runner-up here 3 times, and they've had 6 straight top 10s here on the mile and a half in Vegas. They believe that's going to give them a little bit momentum, and that fresh start will begin today as they open up in race trim in this first practice.
Thanks, Vince. Number of cars, about a dozen of them on track quickly, including Dale Earnhardt Jr. There are 7 cars that are not a part of the early minutes of this practice session, including both the Furniture Row cars among contenders and the Furniture Row cars. Reed Sorensen, Timmy Hill, Derek Cope, Cole Witt, Corey LaJoy are all in timeout for inspection issues last week.
Pretty quick already. Casey Kane was at the top there just for a second. Blaney just knocked him down a spot, but Kane is off to a really, really good start this year. One of the best starts he's had in a while, and boy, he needed it because last year was terrible for him. This team's turned the corner.
Yeah, they got off to a very slow start last year. Then they started coming on and getting some consistency late in the season. It's nice to see him carry that momentum over so far into the start of the 2017 season.
Yeah, 2 top 10s already. That's pretty impressive.
Now, I will say, as we watched Chase Elliott, he was one of the cars that tested here in January. Goodyear had a tire test here. I believe Matt Kenseth was one of those cars. So you'll look for those cars that came here, made laps, even though it was cooler temperatures, to have a little bit of a slight advantage with information that will transfer throughout their organization.
And look at the times here, 28:45 there on Elliott last time by. With the track record 27:49, so we're about a second off the record. But as you heard Jamie or Vince say, they're out there in race trim right now. So they're not in qualifying trim. Later on in that day when qualifying starts, it's going to be a little cooler. You put a qualifying setup in these cars, the track cools down a little bit, that record's going to be in jeopardy.
Well, let's get a little further into this tire test, because NASCAR and Goodyear select the teams, at least one from each manufacturer, to go to the tire test. And when the drivers are testing, Jeff, it's my understanding they don't know which tire is going to be chosen. Basically, it's the Goodyear engineers that keep track of what compounds and what multi-zone tread and what type of construction. The drivers don't really know, but still, there's no substitute for track time.
No, absolutely not. And I'll take it a step further. A lot of time, Goodyear doesn't even want you to know what's on the car when they put you out on the track. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll say, hey, you know, we'll give you a little bit of information so you're not thrown off, but you go out there, you make those laps, and then they want your feedback without any preconceived notion of what it was. Did it have more grip? Did it rotate at this part of the corner? How much did it fall off? And that's what they were going for here at Las Vegas, was to try to get a tire. We've seen where this track has a lot of grip, doesn't have much abrasiveness like we saw in Atlanta, so you don't see much fall off. They were going for this package to complement it with a tire that actually had some fall off. Larry?
Jeff, that's exactly right, because I talked to Jimmy Johnson this morning in the 48 team. Now, they're not one of the teams that didn't test out here, to your point, Chase Elliott, but he felt like, and we had the discussion, this is the first track where we're really going to be able to test this aero package. The 3 races last year, the 2 at Michigan and Kentucky, brand new surfaces, a ton of grip no matter what package, and to your point, Atlanta, just so abrasive. This is kind of middle of the road grip, and truly the softer tire combination left and right that should complement it. Now, this is my track grip level that Goodyear gave us, and this is pretty much measured in microns. And if you see right here, this is Atlanta Motor Speedway last week. And look at the difference over here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And simply that's going to be a lot to do with the contact patch of the tire to the racetrack. This is almost over here like a cheese grater. Just grades the tire up, no grip whatsoever, a lot better. We call it a 1 at Atlanta, and we call it a 3 at Las Vegas on our 1 to 5 scale.
Thanks, Larry. Chase Elliott, top of the board. Kyle Busch now second. Joey Logano third. Chevy, Toyota, Ford.